Well, it's always a pleasure to welcome new drivers to the British Touring Car Championship. Charles Rainford, good to see you here at Media Day. I do wish everybody listening to this could see the smile on your face. I think that sums it up in such words that I would say that you're looking forward to this season.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a massive build-up in my career. I can't thank my family and my sponsors enough for this opportunity. To be racing in this championship against some of the names that are especially competing this season. It's going to be a real tough season, but to benchmark myself against the best is going to be, wonderful.
Now, Charles, lots of people will know you from the other things that you've done if they follow the series that you've been in. There will be people, not unreasonably, who follow the British Touring Car Championship who don't know a lot about you. So give us a potted history.
Yeah, totally. So started racing cars 10 years ago. Did a very small amount of go-karting when I was about 10, but I wasn't allowed to get into racing with that. A, because of price, and B, my mum's nickname is the handbrake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, she's great, but she was very protective of me as a kid and thought karting was a bit dangerous. So the middle ground was I could start racing cars when I was 16. The family business is within build and restore and classic race cars. So I started racing an MG Midget with a special body on called a Lenham Le Mans. Lovely, lovely looking car. So raced that for a while, then moved on to a Marcus 1800 DT. It was a bit of a quicker car. And then started racing with some of our customers that we were running for. And then, took the big step in 2021 to race in the Porsche Carrera Cup Great Britain. Started off as a Pro-Am. Got third in my first season. The biggest thing to take away from Carrera Cup is we were doing it as a family business still. So it was my dad who owns CCK. That's the family-run team within Historics, and that's what we brought through to Porsche Carrera Cup. So my dad owns and runs the team. My little brother was the number one mechanic. For the first few years, I was engineer and driver. So we learnt a lot. Won the Pro-Am Championship in 2022, then moved up to Pro. Got bashed around a little bit, I must say, in 2023 when we moved up to Pro. But, was then in a full title fight last season with George Gamble, Will Martin, Hugo Ellis for the Pro Championship honours.
George Gamble, who's also been in the British Touring Car Championship. Now, you're not just jumping into any old car in the champion or with any old team, are you? You've gone straight into a BMW with WSR. That must be quite something.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's one thing to be a rookie within the championship, but then a complete another to start it with the most, the most known team on the grid in West Surrey Racing. So the team have been incredible to me, getting me up to speed. So much so that I feel ready to go. We've still got another test day tomorrow for Media Day, and I feel ready to go. I just want to get racing now. We had another shakedown this morning just to get the cars ready for tomorrow. But even that gap after the 2 days at Croft we had for our official testing, it was great to get back in it this morning because it just feels like home. The car feels so natural to drive to me now that, I just want to get in and drive for the first race.
How was Croft? Did you get out of that 2 days what you needed to, and were you happy with what you did with the car?
Yeah, definitely. It was almost, we did so much running for myself that by the end of the second day, it was kind of, that was enough. Working heavily on the setup, for me, the biggest thing moving from this into... from Carrera Cup into now BTCC is the amount of setup changes you can do. The Porsche Cup car, as well as it's a fantastic car, it's very limited in what you can change. So there's a lot of different things you can change on the touring car in comparison to the Porsche, and just getting used to those different things has been really, really good. The physical aspect of driving the car is fine. As it's no secret, the Porsche Carrera Cup car is a little bit quicker in lap time than a British touring car, but how you get the lap time is a bit different, but how you set it up really is very, very different. So that's been the biggest learning curve so far. I think in terms of speed, I feel pretty good, going into the first race and the first qualifying session. I just think the biggest bit for me is me learning how to race in this championship. That's going to be the tricky bit, I think. So.
Yes, I think lots of people say it's like another step up. You're learning your racecraft again with some of the robust races that we've got. I think that's definitely a polite way of putting it, isn't it? You've gone from rear-wheel drive in Porsche into rear-wheel drive in the BMW. Was that a conscious decision as well? Did you want to avoid front-wheel drive had there been an offer available?
Totally. I was very lucky. I had a few offers on the table. WSR being what at the time I thought was probably the least likely to happen. But really, I was never really going to go with anyone anyone else, purely because I think I would struggle in a front-wheel drive car. I've never really raced anything front-wheel drive. I did the Goodwood members meeting a few years ago in a Mini Cooper S, which was great fun. However, I very quickly realised how different front-wheel drive is, and that hasn't even got the modern aspects of a front-wheel drive touring car. So I think really rear-wheel drive was always going to be what we were trying to look at, and thankfully we managed to pull a deal off with WSR to get me racing this season.
How important, Charles, was it to be part of the TOCA package? Because years ago we used to have the Clio Cup that was sort of one of the stepping stones towards BTCC, and some of the other drivers in the championship, of course, Dan Camish, Dan Lloyd, Stephen Jelly, they've all done Porsches as well. So you sort of stay on the radar. Is that fair? Is that an important part of how your career is going?
Yeah, totally. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're looking at it, so I came straight from historic racing. So the first thing we then looked at was it has to be something on the British Touring Car package, because it is the best package there is available to a young driver. With the live television, with the sponsor appeal, the big hospitality, it's fantastic. I went down the route of Porsche Carrera Cup. It was very much jumping in at the deep end, but in the same way, Porsche have set me up fantastically well. In my first season, I got loads of media training, I got tyre master classes, all these kind of things. So hopefully, when we can see it from other drivers, as you say, such as Dan Lloyd, Stephen Jelly, and so on, that going through the support series ladder really does work. Obviously, I'm hoping to hit the ground running as much as I can. In testing, I've been doing very well, and I think that is purely down to already being in this paddock for 4 years.
We kick off the season, as I mentioned, in 2 weeks here at Donington Park. What line have you put in the sand, Charles? What sort of expectation of yourself have you put for that first weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of these guys to put massive pressure and expectation on myself. I obviously want to do as well as I can. I think you have to taper your expectations, really. I think I'll get much more of an idea in terms of free practice, and definitely an idea of where I really am after qualifying. Because at the end of the day, testing's testing. We see it with many other big series that one thing happens in testing and a complete another thing happens actually when you're out there. So I think it's hard to put expectations on myself yet. I'm matching all my teammates, and that seems to be really, really good. So that's a good start. In terms of where we are as a team compared to everyone else, we'll find out in qualifying. But I definitely want to be, if not winning the Jack Series, being very, very competitive within it. And where we get an overall result, really, I think we have to reevaluate that about halfway through the year to see where we're at. But the plan is just consistently score points, stay out of trouble, and see where we are, really.
Stay out of trouble. Wise words. Yes, bring the car home in one piece. You don't have to win every race, but you do have to be consistent, as of course you'll know from your racing history so far. Just briefly, Jack Sears Trophy, there are 7 of you eligible for it this year, and all competitive drivers. You all want your hands on that trophy.
Yeah, most definitely. If you haven't yet scored a podium within the series, obviously I come in as a complete rookie, so everything, all of us want to win it desperately. I think, if we're going for the Jack Sears, then we're all going to be probably roughly in the mid-pack, which is where the danger is. So I'm hoping in that way my strategy of staying out of trouble will hopefully pay off. But again, we'll see. I mean, I've got to learn how to race these cars. I imagine I'll probably start out being a bit too passive, then get bashed around a lot, then be too aggressive, and then hopefully, as quick as I can, be somewhere in the middle, which would be about right, I hope.
We get all that over and done with quickly, and then you'll be right before we get to the halfway point.
All I know is that 2 weeks' time here will be a steep learning curve, so I'm ready to learn.
Just the other side of that window, you can see the grid there, and the lights will go out, and it'll all start.
That's
absolutely brilliant. Charles, really good to see you. Have a great season. It's really good to have you on board. What you won't know is at this time of the year, at the media day, we throw in a couple of questions at the end, which are sort of a little bit curvebally. There are 5 to choose from. You first of all need to choose a number between 1 and 5.
Oh gosh, let's go for 1 for the winning mindset.
Are you a good passenger in a road car?
You know what? Actually, surprising. So my day job is instruction and coaching. So generally, I'm a pretty good passenger on track as long as someone knows what they're doing. I actually haven't been a passenger in a road car for a good while. To be fair, the only passenger experience I have is my girlfriend, which is fine most of the time. Sometimes I close my eyes, but generally I say I'm probably okay. I don't like people really speeding too much. 80's about right. Anything over, I do ask people to slow down. Just because at the end of the day, we're on a road. It's an unprepped race. It's not a race car. It's unprepped.
And just so that we're clear, it is the law that you can't
is
go.
indeed, exactly.
Right. Yeah, we'll move on from that. All right. One more number between 1 and 5.
Gosh, let's go for 3.
Do you have a middle name?
I do. It is Edward. I have a very posh name in Charles Edward Rainford.
It is quite posh, though,
Quite posh, isn't it? I know.
Yeah. Ah, good. We'll keep an eye on that. Brilliant. And one more.
Let's go for 4.
What was the last book that you read?
Oh, gosh. You know what? The last book I read was by Mike Wilds, his autobiography, On the Wild Side. He also signed it for me. He's a lovely guy, good friend of my dad's, and a real hero of mine after all his adventures at Le Mans and everything. So hearing about his life and his stories, it's a fantastic book. If you haven't read it, I can highly recommend it.
Good recommendation. Really good to see you. Have a fantastic season.
Thank you.